Cheryl put an intriguing comment in the chat about physical and virtual tattoos as a vehicle for expression. And I think
Yeah,
I sort of got caught on, whoa, virtual tattoos. I haven't even thought of that. But of course, if we're zooming,
yeah. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And it comes back to sort of clothing and whatever we put on our body as self-expression, but also as communication. We certainly dress up for an interview because we're trying to communicate an intent, that we're organized, that we're put together, that we're going to do a good job, that we want to be there, that we want the job. So how else might we use our clothing or what we put on our body to communicate? And we could maybe with virtual tattoos or virtual clothing, we could very quickly communicate a mood, not just an intent, but like a mood or yeah, a shift in perspective or something like that. So it could be very interesting.
I also was thinking about it. So I live in New Zealand, and cultural tattoos are quite acceptable because they show your whakapapa and your ancestry and so on. But they never used to be acceptable, or you had to cover them for work. But also, when some of our people are traveling overseas, it's seen as much more of a gangster sort of thing. And so it varies from culture to culture. But here, one of our school principals in the North Island, she's got a multitude of tattoos that she you know are really obvious, and people either are really affronted by it because she's a school principal, or accepting of it because it's an expression of who she is, and a piece of art. So it's a really interesting space.
Mm, yeah. And so if we're all able to bring more of ourselves to the workplace through our clothing or tattoos, then it won't be so exceptional. Um, yeah, I think it's really interesting. I know we've got some comments in the chat as well. Some clothing companies are now including a digital skin of the clothing item that you physically buy so that your avatar can be dressed in the same item as you. Yeah, so that's definitely already happening. And so we can imagine this whole room of us actually just wearing virtual clothing. It could be very interesting. Um, any more thoughts on this one? I know there's been quite a lot of stuff in the chat as well. Yeah,
That
about
sounds
finance being
very
most feminine.
Jetson. It sounds, have you guys ever seen the Jetsons, that old cartoon where they have the, but I was reminded of that because I was working with a company that provides cybersecurity training, and one of the benefits of using that company, it's these animated stories, and they can make it edgy, the characters edgy, so you can get the edgy version with pink hair or whatever, or you can get the more corporate version of different scenarios. So I thought that was interesting. And you can make it as diverse as you want. They just switch out the characters.
Oh yeah, interesting. That makes me think of, well, I'm not a video gamer myself, but listening to other people who are into video games, some of the appeal can be that you can choose. There's so much variation on choosing the character that you play. So I guess the avatar. Um, so maybe in cultures or workplaces where you're not able to do that in real life, that there's an outlet and there's a desire to have this outlet to be able to be whoever you are in that virtual space. And so I think like that's also a signal that there's so much appetite and desire for that that it would only naturally eventually flow into our in-person spaces as well.